Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. Thank you for joining our call today. Just want to give a special welcome to those who are here live and also those who are listening to the podcast. Thank you for choosing to spend this time with us in gratitude. I'm just constantly amazed at the different facets and how important gratitude is in our lives. I'm actually going to be teaching a masterclass today at 2 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. The Mentors in Training Facebook group is going to be hosting that. I'll be on their Facebook Live. So anybody that wants to go join that Mentors in Training group, you can watch it there, Facebook Live, or I also have on any of my other platforms, there's also a registration link that you can watch it on Zoom. This is my first time doing a Zoom link that is also going to be a Facebook Live. So I'm super excited to see how that turns out and assuming that all the technology is going to work. So loving that. Is interesting. I was up at a retreat last week and we were playing a game, and one of the questions in the game was to write down something that we consider a weakness of ourselves, and just to create some awareness of it, and then, like see it from a different perspective. And the weakness that I wrote down was technology. And I've always kind of just like pushed that aside and said, oh, I want somebody else to do all the technology. But it's an opportunity today. There's been a couple things that I've done over the last couple of days to really step into believing that I can do it. And I know that it's going to open up some new opportunities for me when I create some new beliefs about technology, and that it's one of my strengths. I'm going to make it one of my strengths. You can hear my facetious voice in the background. I know that it's possible if it's something that I really truly want to learn and to get good at, which I know is going to be serve me in some really great ways. And it's probably going to save me lots of money too, and paying people to do some of the things that I could probably do myself. So excited to step into that today and see how that turns out, and get some physical evidence that I am good at technology, that I can do stuff. Today, kind of going along those same lines, are the focus that we're going to do today on our 90-second private silent meditation is gratitude for clarifying the missing pieces. And kind of the reason why I went to that technology is I've always felt like that is one thing that has been missing for me. I didn't grow, I'm 57. And so I didn't grow up with computers. The very first computer that I actually got to use was when I was a senior in high school. Our accounting department got one computer, and all of us seniors got to go and spend 1 hour on the computer. So I had 1 hour logged time of computer as a senior in high school in my accounting class. And I had no idea what to do with it more than just like turn it on and just kind of click around on things. We weren't even clicking on things back then. There was no such thing as a mouse back then. So it was all like DOS language. And I did take a computer class in college, one computer class in college. And then when I got my first job as an accountant, as an office manager, we finally got a computer. I was doing everything by hand, and we finally got a computer. And again, I didn't really know what to do with it too much, other than we started an accounting program on there. But so I didn't grow up in that technology age. And so it's been a little bit of a struggle for me, but only because I chose to make it a struggle, I think, and I'm choosing to be good at it. So get to see what I get to learn. So for me, that has been a missing piece. And I'm just super grateful when those missing pieces are, when I have clarity of mind of what those missing pieces are and what I need to do. So there I did my share. And so we're going to do our private silent meditation now. And so when we get done with this 90-second meditation, I'm just going to turn it over to you guys, and we'll see what comes up for you. Welcome, Kathy just joined us as well. We're just about to start our private silent meditation on gratitude for clarifying the missing pieces. And we'll just see what comes up. So just write down whatever comes to you. Gratitude for clarifying the missing pieces. 90-second meditation begin. All right. Who else has something that they would like to share about what they got in their private meditation?
I'll share.
Thanks, Tammy.
So my mind was just really going to just the developing the skill of allowing the right thing to distill upon our souls and never doing anything by compulsory means. That whatever pieces are missing for us, that they align and come into focus for us at the perfect time. And if we just allow them to just distill upon our souls and just know that they will come at the perfect time, it feels so good when you start gaining evidence of that. And I'm just so grateful for that things just come into alignment all at the perfect time. And I think so many times it's so easy as humans to feel like things aren't moving fast enough or whatever, but we just continue to do what's in front of us, focusing on the present and just trusting that will come. Like there were several questions that I have been pondering on with the architecture of life and what I'm creating right now, and over the last couple of days, it's kind of just been like bits and pieces, but nothing real conclusive. And then when I sat down this morning, I just started getting this huge download of stuff. And so, I think just if we can just do what's in front of us and know that as we keep trusting and believing, that all of those missing pieces align and will just simply come to us so easily.
Beautiful. That is just a kind of a sneak peek into the gratitude triad that I'm going to be teaching on my masterclass today at 2:00 Mountain Standard Time, and really including God in everything that we do. He's at the top of that triangle, of that triad, And it's so true. If we can take our ego out of the way and just look to God for everything and know that it's coming in the perfect time, that when we're ready and when it's the perfect timing, it's going to be there. That faith really creates a lot of peace in our lives. Thank you, Laura, and then Phil.
So the process that Tammy was talking about is what I was also thinking about. And I see the process as a scientific method that we can, we don't have to wait in a sense. We don't have to like passively wait for the Lord. We can, through the opening of our mind to the spaces between what we know, because the gap is the space, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we're opening to that space, if we are in that like way of thinking where we're it's basically on a brainwave, it's alpha instead of beta, and if you can go deeper, that's even better. But anyway, when we are able to bring our minds into those patterns, those wave patterns, and we're open and relaxed in that space, then those answers come.
Mm-hmm.
And that's we still wait, but it's an active waiting because we're focusing our minds in the correct way, and to get that response from God, but really from ourselves, because what we're really just doing is tuning ourselves to what he's already trying to show us. And so then the inspiration and intuition and the filling in of those gaps comes quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker because we're open.
Beautiful.
And I was just super grateful for that, man. That's like where it's all at.
I like that idea of, because we all have those spaces in between, like Tammy was talking about, she had been open to receive, but nothing had really come until she sat down this morning. But you can tell that Tammy was like actively waiting. She's asking every day, listening, and it's not like getting frustrated or just like sitting here, okay, I'm waiting, like, when are you going to give it to me? It's
right.
Eager anticipation, being on the, tuning ourselves, like you said. But there's things that can be done in between too. So,
Sure.
There's always something. There's just because we aren't getting, the exact thing that we're looking for doesn't mean that there's not something that could be. And we don't have to fill every space with something. But anyway, I agree with what you're saying. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Phil, and then Robert, Betsy, and Tyree.
So I own a big 4x4 truck, and a couple of years ago, I was down in Goblin Valley doing some hiking and stuff, and I saw on the map that there was this road that went over and came out on a highway like 50 miles away. And I thought to myself, I should take that road. And so the map showed me the way, but I really didn't know what it was like. And so I headed out on that road, and I came to a really steep, narrow place in the road. And I thought, wow, am I ever going to get past this? And if I do, what lies ahead of me? And I was tempted to just turn around and go back. But instead I pressed forward, and I got out of my truck and I examined the situation. I thought, I can do this. So anxiety filled my soul as I put it in 4-wheel drive, and I crept along the side of this cliff and got my truck to the next spot. I also noticed that there was a river up there, and I didn't know what to expect when I got to the river. It was the Santa Clara River. And as I was driving along, the scenery was just absolutely incredible. It's like I was on the moon or something. I'd never seen anything quite like it. So I noticed that as I was going, that this amazing thing that I would have missed out on if I didn't press forward. But then I got to the river, and the river was high, and I thought, and there was no bridge. And I thought, how in the world am I going to cross this river? Well, it wasn't too deep, but it was pretty swift, and it was deep enough. And so I stopped my truck again, and I got out and I walked around the banks trying to find a place that I could cross, maybe. And so I decided, after some inspection and a lot of anxiety, I decided that I should cross. And then lo and behold, some four-wheelers showed up on the other side of the river. And then I felt safe when they showed up, because I wasn't alone anymore. So I found a place to cross, and I took my truck and I just went, like, floored it. And I just went plunging into the river, and I went splashing and crossed the river and got to the other side. And my heart was racing, and my truck moved a little sideways while I was going. And it was such an adventure. And when I got to their side, I thought, that was completely amazing. So amazing. I'm so glad I did this trip. And so, that's what came to my mind when we thought, like clarity on the little pieces. Because sometimes as we're building a business, or we have to face somebody that's, that we've been avoiding, or a situation we've been avoiding. But if we'll stop for a moment and get our bearings a little straight, we have kind of a map of what we're supposed to do, but really it takes active going and discovering as you progress along the path. So I just thought I'd share that.
Awesome. Thank you. What a great visual. And to always know that we have choice, we can go back or we can continue forward. Sometimes the cost is too great to continue forward, and we need to make a different, detour, or go back and find a different way around, or whatever. Sometimes that is the best thing to do. But a lot of times, if there's just like a little bit of fear, but it's like, I think I can do it, and especially if something shows up as confirmation, okay, I'm not by myself. There's somebody there that can help me if I, get in trouble or whatever. That's always just a really awesome confirmation to continue forward too. I love that thought, that visual. Thanks, Phil. Great story. Robert.
Thank you. Yeah, I like Phil's story. I think metaphorically, seeing something beautiful in new terrain is very enthusiastic and invigorating, even. Mm-hmm. But I related that the missing pieces of what I'm searching for, have been searching for, as to the gift of me being able to turn negative into positive. Mm-hmm. And in doing so, I realized that if that's what it is, that I'm, what I have found, if what I have found is what turns my ability to turn negative into positive, then I filled in one of the pieces. And then the next step, if that's true, the next steps would come to me as to the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh step. So it wasn't just a step, but a series of steps. But I can't get to that 6th, 7th, 10th, maybe 20th step until I've gotten to that first step of identifying what is it, what was it that that quote unquote formula that I had in my head that was hidden, taking a road that I had never taken down because I was never, the question had never was posed to me, that helped me explore that possibility in that area.
Yeah, awesome. Just like I was mentioning before about, my missing piece being technology, I have no idea if as I develop that skill and I become more, as I begin looking at it as a strength rather than a weakness, I have no idea where that's going to lead me. If I can go down that road, then I know that's going to open up. I hadn't thought of that's just a first step to something else. I have no idea where that's leading me. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Love that. Betsy, and then Tyree and Deepti.
So I really love this. This was actually a little jovial for me because through the years, I've really loved putting puzzles together. And when you said, clarifying the missing pieces, I just thought, how many times have we done a puzzle and one piece is missing and you're like, and you focus on that missing piece. I just thought, as I pondered this, in God's puzzle of life, there just is never a missing piece. And that we sometimes need to change the puzzle piece around, to turn it around 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and look closely at the colors so that we can match them up to a neighboring piece. And there's adjustment. I thought of the the game Tetris, to change and shift the pieces so that things would fit together better. And sometimes we just really need to focus in and maybe crop the piece or focus. So I went to the place of the power of change, the choice to be able to see the piece God places right before me that is hiding in all of these other pieces that I'm looking and looking, and I don't see until I really, really focus. And there's a belief in myself that that piece is there. And I think that that led me to the eternalness of the plan and the architecture of life, the inspiration that is involved in this beautiful game of Tetris and God's puzzles of life. And what a joy it is when you find that piece and it fits. And I think that's part of the clarifying, the really focusing in on the little details of these tiny pieces to find what place we may think that they fit in one place, when we try to put that puzzle piece in. And no matter how we try to fit, the empty space with the full space, that they're the wrong sizes. And so we have to look elsewhere. Sometimes we have to put that piece aside and fill it into where it really belongs later. So I don't know, I just got into this jovial puzzle piece and how beautiful God's plan is for us, that he sees that whole picture and he shows us that glimpse of this is that beautiful picture that you get to live. And as we maneuver our pieces, and it's just a beautiful process.
Awesome. And I noticed in the chat, Laura says, in God's puzzle of life, there is never a missing piece. Quote of the day. So I'm writing that down. We'll do that as our meme today.
Seriously, that could be like, I see it on plaques, I see it on t-shirts.
There you go, Betsy. There you go, Betsy. I love it. I want to comment on a couple of things that that you shared. First of all, the snow globe that I mentioned yesterday, the snow globe principle is, on purpose, dumping your world upside down and just letting the pieces kind of all fall down. And the purpose of doing that is that you're shaking up your life. And the fearful thing is to go look around and grab all the pieces that look familiar and try to rebuild that world, the way that it was before. But it's not possible to do that. When something is shaken upside down, there's a purpose for that and a reason that we're leveling up or whatever. And so to grab the pieces that look like the new puzzle that you want to create, the new picture that you're creating. So grab the puzzle pieces that match for that new life that you're creating. And so I know sometimes I've been putting a puzzle together and there's a piece in there that somehow got snuck in there from a different puzzle or something. It's like, what the heck is this? It's not even the right size. And you put that aside so that you can find out where it really belongs. Sometimes we're trying to use the wrong pieces because they're familiar to us to create our new life. So it's important for us to, be looking at the right picture when we're putting those pieces together. Thanks, everybody. Or thanks, Betsy. So Tammy says, so true. We always have every piece we need at any given time. I just have a belief that there's nothing superfluous here, that everything God put here on the earth has a purpose and a reason. And we don't need to use all of it. You know, some things are Laura's and some things are Betsy's and some things are Deepti's. They're not all mine. So I don't have to hoard everything and think I have to use everything that God gave me. But I feel like, you know, the resources that we're given here are all here for a purpose. Let's go Tyree and Deepti, and then we'll do a short permission process. We're getting close to the end of our time. Thanks, everybody, for all your shares. Tyree.
So I was just thinking about a talk that I listened to this morning, that our self-worth comes from really connecting with the sacrament, and that ordinance, and how Jesus Christ put that here for us, and how it requires, so the clarifying for me was just understanding that in order to really find, like that scripture, lose your life to find it, takes on a deeper meaning, because I cannot find my life and my purpose by focusing on myself. I find my life purpose and mission by focusing on Christ. And that's how I find that. And so the natural tendency, I was just thinking about a conversation I had with Moses, and how I like the tendency to blame myself or to look at what I'm doing wrong is completely ineffective, because really the question is just, what is my next step, and to turn outward rather than inward, to lose my life and find it. And so that was the clarifying thing. And I just wanted to add what you guys were talking about a little bit earlier, is this, in the space between, there are action steps that are daily shortcut. It's the faith. It's because faith is action. Faith without works is dead, as it talks about in James.
Awesome. And you're absolutely right. Every day we're getting those inspired shortcuts. Now, there have been times when my inspired shortcut is rest. And that's an active thing too. It's a conscious choice to rest. So yeah, exactly. There's always things. And I love that feeling when things start falling into place, when you get new understanding just because you asked for some new information. Those missing pieces around something that we've been taught, you know, like you're talking about the sacrament. Those of us who are born into Christian families, you know, we know that's something that we've been taught from the time that we were born. But there are new facets that you can understand, new missing pieces that can fall into place about anything that you've learned. Deepti.
So I associated the word missing pieces with the lessons we are supposed to learn while we are here. And I think our whole life is a riddle, and God just keeps, you know, putting the same experiences or the same things, or, you know, repeated patterns into our lives for us to solve that riddle. And once we solve that riddle, obviously the lesson is learned, and then, you know, we are fixing that missing piece, which brings us back close to, you know, who we are authentically are, or who we are meant to be. So that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you. Finding those missing pieces, solving the riddle, clarifying those missing pieces brings us back into alignment with who we were in the beginning, who we're meant to be, and in alignment with God. Thank you. I love that. Let's go ahead and just take a deep breath. I just want to also read what's in the chat here that Kathy's shared. Those missing pieces may be held by others who are also working on the puzzle. Find those people and focus on our own pieces. That's awesome. Bringing people together into your creation that maybe have a missing piece that you haven't been able to gather yourself. Love that. And go ahead and take one more deep breath. And right now in this moment, this is an opportunity for us to see the full picture of the puzzle that we're putting together, whether it's a new creation that you are working on, or maybe it's an old creation that you've been working on and there's been some missing pieces that you haven't really known how to fill those in. So just allow yourself to be shown whatever this picture is that you're building, and allow those missing pieces to just be there, the spaces between. And just like putting a puzzle together, that just means the puzzle's not completely done yet. And maybe there are some people that have those missing pieces. Maybe the missing pieces have fallen down onto the floor and you just had missed them. Maybe just look around and see if they're actually there within your view, but you just hadn't been open to see them before. Just be open to have a greater understanding of what those missing pieces mean to you right now. And what is the active waiting that gets to happen right now? What's your inspired shortcut, the action steps that get to happen right now as you are waiting for those missing pieces to show up for you? So what is the one most important thing that you could do today? What's your inspired shortcut today as you're waiting for those missing pieces to show up, or that will help you find those missing pieces? And as you are looking at the picture that you're building and also noticing the spaces, the missing pieces, what is the limiting belief that might be showing up for you right now about this picture, about yourself, about the missing pieces? What's your limiting belief? And what's the cost of that limiting belief? If you hold on to that idea of what is the outcome that that's going to produce. And if you don't like that outcome, you get to give yourself permission to choose a new belief that will help you have a different outcome. So just check in right now. And if you are ready to change that new belief, you can give yourself permission to change it by saying yes.
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 Awesome. And to change that new belief, we need to replace it with something. We need to let go of that limiting belief and replace it with a new belief. And so right now, take a moment and choose some words that will serve you in finding those missing pieces and completing that picture, and also the words that will replace that old limiting belief and feel more true, give you more confidence, more feel more self-worth. Whatever that limiting belief is, make the change by changing the words. And right now in this moment, as you're putting those words together, go back to that vision of your picture. And as you're creating these words of the new beliefs, notice how those spaces are beginning to be filled in. Maybe it's just like a network that is starting to, just some crisscrosses that are happening in there, creating a foundation for that new piece to be set into. Maybe it is clearing the ground. Maybe it's, whatever it looks like. Maybe it is the actual piece. Maybe these new beliefs are the actual piece that was missing. And so just allow those new beliefs to create some sort of change within your picture, so that you can see as you move forward with these new beliefs that your picture is actually more complete now than it was before. It was before you created these new beliefs. Take one more deep breath. You have your inspired shortcut, the one thing that is going to help you complete your picture today, and new beliefs that will help you to add even more fiber to these, where these missing pieces go, more substance to your picture, create more of a three-dimensional reality, and then commit within yourself to go forward now that you've clarified the missing pieces and started creating more of a foundational network for these missing pieces to be set into. And commit within yourself to be active in this waiting period, or be celebrating as you are seeing these new pieces falling in place. Whatever, wherever you're at, to having this positive forward-thinking energy and receiving energy, being allowing those pieces to just fall into place. We are at the end of our time today. I'm going to invite all of you to go to our Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude. Share your thoughts there of what your missing pieces are. If there are some missing pieces in the form of people that you need, those like those four-wheelers that showed up for Phil and his story, maybe there are some people that you can reach out to, even in this group, that could help support you in filling in and clarifying and filling in your missing pieces. And if you're still needing that clarification, I would love to have a 15-minute conversation with you. And all you have to do is just go to askwylene.com. And I would love to have that time, special time with you to help you clarify those missing pieces. askwylene.com. Deepti says her new belief is, I'm living in my awakened state of embodied love now. Beautiful. And love to have all of you share your new beliefs and any other thoughts on our Facebook group. Love you guys. We will look forward to being back together tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And we'll talk to you then.
Thank you.
Thank
Right.
you.
Have a
Love
wonderful
you.
day.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, wylenebenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.